everybody. Welcome to another episode of Proficient Fans. My name is CB, and with me is
Clay Haggard.
Clay. Exciting week, fun week. How was the week?
Quick week, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad the weeks are going by. I stayed busy this week, though. Networking events, hockey games, movie marathons.
Movie marathons, what are you watching?
Nick and I had plans. We had to finish up the Transformers series. We watched the first three, all with Shia LaBeouf, one sitting. And yesterday we knocked out the two Mark Wahlbergs and Bumblebee.
That's what's up. When's the new one coming out?
June or July.
Oh, okay. You're just getting ahead of the game.
Yeah, I mean, but this is something him and I have been doing for a couple years now. We just randomly will pick, like we did all the Terminators one time, and we obviously not all in one sitting, but you watch a couple. Next time you kick it, yo, bro, let's knock out some more of these movies. The next one we're going to is Mission Impossible.
I want to do.
Yeah,
I've been keep on meaning to do Mission Impossible. Just the Divergent.
Yeah, with Dead Reckoning Part 1 coming up in July, I told him I was like, I'd really like to rewatch the Mission Impossibles, and to be honest with you, all those movies are dope. So why not rewatch them? Well, I just recently watched all the John Wicks with my neighbor.
Oh, dope.
Just John Wick 4 is coming out here in like what, two weeks,
something like
3
that,
weeks,
yeah.
About a month. I think it's end of March. So yeah, man, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, we had C had his last wrestling tournament yesterday. In one of his matches, it was funny. It was like he was like a ram, and they fucking bash faces. Now he's fucking faces like he's got fucking cuts here all the way down.
Hell yeah!
Hell
yeah!
I'm like, you look like a fucking real warrior, son. Like, but yeah, we're coming up to the end of wrestling season. I was just excited because like it was the first tournament I got to go to.
Sure.
This season, and it was just a lot of fun. I was exhausted by the end of it all, and I couldn't imagine how he was feeling just actually doing stuff. But it's funny. It's not funny, really. This week didn't start out too well, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the Super Bowl, then come Monday night. I believe it was Monday night. Right?
It was.
Yeah.
It was
Monday night. Definitely our Spartan Nation felt something that was not anything that you'd ever expect. There was a mass shooting at the Michigan State campus. A 43-year-old man killed 3 people and then wounded 5 others. And, I made sure to get Ariel Anderson. She was a junior from Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Alexandra Werner, a junior from Clawson, Michigan, and Brian Frazier, sophomore, who is also from Grosse Pointe, Michigan. And it was, a senseless crime, It made no sense of why. I mean, a 43-year-old just randomly shooting college students. That doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. 4 of the 5 students were required surgery and some immediate intervention. And then I also, during that whole point of kind of just following the story of what happened, learned that there's at least one student that I'm aware of that was part of the Sandy Hook shootings, as well as there's probably a handful of students from Oxford who had to deal with that school shooting. And I was in my head about how tough and how there's no way in the world that I could ever understand what they were going through, being that they're so young and to have been through 2 catastrophes like this in their lives. So I know that my thoughts are definitely with all the survivors that had to deal through this, as well as the families and of the kids that were murdered and injured. So
yeah, man, that was I'm almost like out of words. It's really sad to see something like that happen, especially to people so young. I mean, anyone, but man, and as a parent, you want to be like assured that your children will be safe while they're gone. And, not to say, I haven't done research on like, police or security or anything like that on campus. To my understanding, I mean, there were quite a few police officers on scene once this news started coming out that there was someone on campus with a gun, shooting people. I do believe that the shooter ended up killing themselves.
Yeah, that
happened. And which sounds inhumane, but I'm glad that this human maybe doesn't have an opportunity to do, like, I guess, to further that incident or to happen again. I wish whatever did happen, they could have received the help that they needed before resulting to such an extreme, taking innocent lives. I mean, that's unforgivable.
From my understanding on that, because I know I read that in 2019 he was arrested with gun charges and he got off probation in 2021. With interviews from his dad, who he lived with, he didn't have any friends. He didn't, he basically just lived in his bedroom, like even went to the bathroom in there type stuff. They tried to get him, at least the dad said, I don't know, I'm just going off of what the dad's saying. Dad tried to get him help for things because he lost his mother, and that's when things kind of really went downhill for this guy. But it's just one of these weird things where it's like we always want to push getting help, but it's I don't know, it's tough because the fact that we want to push that, and that's a good thing, right? We want people to get help. But how do we handle the people that don't want the help?
Right.
And that's what this to me, seems like this is what that is a case of, is somebody that was getting pushed to get help and they just did not want to receive that help. And I don't know how we go about trying to fix that.
Sure. Yeah, and nor do I have the answer.
Yeah. I wasn't. I didn't expect
I
you
know,
to.
and hence just why, like, I just wish that there were ways to avoid these situations. I'm not saying that's a perfect,
100%.
you know what I mean? Like, just like, damn, man, like, what could have been done? Would it have taken one person? Would it have taken a group? Maybe it would have taken restraints. Like, you need to be in a facility. I mean, I don't know what that looks like. I just, regardless of the soul that gets taken, it's just really hard, for it to be happening on a college campus and, so close to home. I can't tell you. I mean, how many times have we been? I mean, you went to Michigan State.
As soon as I heard Berkey, I go, oh.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I was heering halls that I recognized.
When they said Berkey Hall, I was like, okay. And then he went to the student union. And then, he was in public spaces doing this. Mm-hmm. And when they got him, he still had more magazines and bullets on him to reload. So I thought I heard something about there being a letter or something like that, or some notes or whatever. I haven't heard anything about those. As far as, we always want to make sense of why people do these things. And I want to know what reasoning would anybody have to go and just randomly start shooting?
Right.
Not just anybody, but kids.
Yeah. And that's why I say unforgivable.
By far. And, he could have saved a lot of trouble and turmoil just by, shooting himself. That's what he did anyways. I didn't know where he shot himself, and I was just like, I wonder if he was just trying to, maybe he shot himself in the leg, right? And hit an artery. And that's how he died. I didn't know, I was just like, maybe he's just trying to make it seem like he got shot, but he wasn't the shooter, so he could try to get out of it without getting hurt. I mean, this is where I'm trying to figure out. But I heard it was more of a fatal shot that he took to himself.
Yeah, that's kind of what I understood as well.
Do you have an ocelot walking out there?
I don't know. But what I will say is I am blown away by the love and support that Spartan Nation has received.
Yeah.
I mean, across the country.
And Duke did the bells with the fight song.
And, it's one of those things that it is bigger than the game. And, to see Michigan, U of M, paint their rock, green and white. Mm-hmm. And see the support that they gave Michigan State last night during the basketball game in Ann Arbor. And, I know that from an athletic standpoint, or maybe even just a school pride thing, like there will always be a rivalry. It's hard to get away from that. But I think what they did was just classy. And I think it does kind of always, at least it reminded me that I'm just kind of like, damn, like, all that shade does go to the side when something crazy like that happens. I know for a fact if that happened on Ann Arbor's campus, dude, I would be showing support.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be any kind of, there's just no room. There's no place for any kind of competition in that moment,
right?
In my opinion. Obviously, whistle blows, tip off. Okay, yeah, I understand. They still got a game to play. And I thought all students, played some damn good basketball considering what had just happened.
Yeah.
And, but I wanted to make sure I shouted out Ann Arbor, and it's not just like I expected anything different. And like, I kind of expected that kind of support. But to see it, I still feel like, give them affirmation, let them know that it's appreciated, it's received, but appreciated as well.
And I saw, I believe it was Michigan's women's basketball coach during the game that she coached, had a Spartan Strong shirt on during the game. I know that it was Wednesday night. Rutgers, Nebraska, I believe, was playing, and they held a little something as well.
Oh, okay. That's very cool. I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, so it's like there's it just across the the nation of it's just been really beautiful to see. As soon as I try to, because like I don't want to live in it. You know what I mean? And that's selfish. I get it, and I apologize for being a selfish individual. But I'm trying to move on, right?
Yep.
And it seems like every time I'm watching something, it gets brought up again.
Yep.
And then I go back into that space of, sadness for these folks, and maybe and me being somebody lucky that never happened when I was there, or when I'm visiting it hasn't happened, or anything like that. And I know that's selfish, and I don't. But I always stop to watch because I'm like, maybe they have new information. Mm-hmm. I always want to know more because the fact that this has affected so many of our youth, and being a dad of, two young men that, hopefully someday, go to college themselves. And, and they've seen everything. They're privy to understanding what's happened.
Yeah.
And knowing that, unfortunately, the world that we live in isn't the safe place that we would like it to be. And unfortunately, there's nothing that these young students could have ever have done to prevent what happened. So, I don't know. It's just a tough time, and to start off the pod with such a somber conversation is not the norm. But this is something that needs to be spoken about, and if somehow or another you did miss it, I'm glad that you came to us, and I hope that I know we didn't do it justice, because there's no way that you could ever do something that is so horrific,
right,
and do justice on talking about it. But
right.
I did want to make sure I got the 3 young students' names correct. was a big thing. And I wanted you to know where they came from, and know that these are just Michigan kids, man. Mm-hmm. These were Michigan kids. Yes, it doesn't matter where you're from, but right. I mean, we had 2 foreign students that got injured.
Yep.
That they came to Michigan State because they saw the dream of what America is supposed to be, and unfortunately, it just seems like right now America's just a bunch of just random, senseless shootings. Mm-hmm. So,
Go green.
Go white. All right, we're going to take a break, come back, and pick up some happier notes. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, so Super Bowl Sunday was last Sunday.
Yeah, it was.
Or was it the Super Sunday?
More importantly, what did you eat for Super Bowl?
Had Fish Express.
That's right.
Got them wings.
Fire. Extra seasoning?
Duh.
Just making sure.
You know what's crazy is we called Friday this pre-order.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time, folks. Don't waste your time. You go to Fish Express pre-order. Get there. They acted like I was crazy. I was just like, well, I just need to place the order then, I guess. Which allowed me to scale it back because originally we ordered like 30 wings. I did not need 30 wings. And but it was fantastic. I pounded that down watching football and
Aren't they whole wings?
yeah. So I was good with 20. It was a great feast.
Yeah. Fish Express is good.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I made wings. Mike made wings. I had a big pot of queso. We had some pretzels, soft pretzels and cheese. Had some jalapeno poppers.
nice.
Yeah, I had a little mix.
Did you make the jalapeno poppers? Okay.
Dad just kind of brought them over last second. It was like, hey, I brought
Gotcha.
over some air fryer stuff in case we want extra snacks.
No, I didn't know if y'all was getting busy up in there.
I do got a bacon wrapped jalapeno popper recipe on my phone. I haven't tried them yet, but it's super simple.
That's what I like about Super Bowl is that it definitely allows for more food. Like I mean, we had a bunch of other shit, but I mean, the coup de grace of the whole fiesta was the wings. But yeah, it was too much food, way too much food, and it's too much grease.
Yeah.
So, but definitely hunkered down and got to see one of the greatest Super Bowl matches
It was a good one, wasn't it?
that I can ever remember watching.
I bet you were confident at the start, weren't you?
There for a minute, I was like, "Damn, it's about ready to be a walk." But you know, the Kansas City Chiefs definitely proved it not to be. I knew the tides turned for me when I was just like, "Oh, this is gonna be a real game," on the fumble return for a touchdown.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Well, there goes that." But I mean,
that was definitely the game of two halves. The tale of two halves. I felt like Philly controlled that first half, and I felt like Kansas City absolutely controlled that second half.
well, it's hard to say that they even controlled the first half, though. I mean, time of clock, yes.
Yeah.
But because of Patrick Mahomes not getting that opportunity because they ran that back in for a touchdown, didn't allow for Kansas City to try to control the clock at all.
No, I know, but I guess what I meant by that was I feel like when Hurts fumbled that ball, that was pure luck for Kansas City.
Oh,
It's not like effort is what caused that. And they got lucky and were given a golden ticket. So in my opinion, take away that score, it's even another whole new ball game going into halftime. So that's why I say I felt like Philly controlled it because all they did was hurt themselves, not give up too many big plays or anything like that. But I just think I think after watching that game, though, man, Patrick Mahomes, I've been talking this dude up all the way through playoffs. On one ankle, goes out there and just lights it up, dude. That second half of his was utterly unbelievable.
No, I mean
the epitome of greatness.
He definitely showed why he gets all the praise that he does get. I would say that at the beginning of the season, at the end of last season, when you guys traded for Tyreek Hill, I was just like, ooh. Didn't really necessarily think that the Chiefs were going to be the ones that came out of the East.
Right.
Pacheco, yeah. He ran his fucking ass off and made it so Patrick Mahomes could have those opportunities to be able to toss that ball around because
he runs so damn hard.
It was like I mean, as much credit as Pat deserves, I give a lot of credit to I'm gonna say Pacheco again. What's it? Pacheco.
There
There we go. I'm going to give a lot of credit to him because he opened up the passing game by being so dominant on the running. Very, very good look from him when they actually did get the ball in the second half. Travis, I actually, at the beginning, when Travis scored the first touchdown, I go, oh, fuck. I'm like, I do have him scoring 2 touchdowns. I was like, because I put in a bet for him to score each half and then one for A.J. Brown to score in each half.
Yep. If Goddard could have gotten me a touchdown, I would have won like $178. Yeah. That's all I was missing. 7-leg parlay, missed it by 1. Goddard touchdown.
Which Goddard played his ass off. Mm-hmm. That dude was catching everything. I want to go back to Travis Kelce and that fucking worm burner that he caught.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was nice, wasn't it?
The Kansas City Chiefs are that team. Andy Reid is that guy.
Eric Bieniemy is that guy. Those 2 touchdown play calls where they reverse their route into the flats.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. They ran that play, and I was like, what a play call. And I gave Andy Reid all the kudos. And then after the game, come to find out, Eric Bieniemy is the one who called both those plays. And I was just like, damn. I just, in the moment, to like, this is what I'm seeing, this is what we're running. And it not only worked to perfection, there wasn't even a guy 8 to 10 yards from the receiver
wide open
by the time he caught the ball. Like, and then to run it back the same play on the other side of the field. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I go, this is just great. Which Eric Bieniemy is now the offensive coordinator of Washington, which blows my mind. Why would you jump ship to just be another offensive coordinator? That's what I don't understand is why would you not leave to be a head coach? But I don't know. To each their own.
Yeah, that is...
Unless I'm crazy and he did become the head coach, but I swear
Ron Rivera's just the head coach of
correct.
The
I swear it was just to be an offensive coordinator.
So yeah, it's very good for Bieniemy. I know that I think he just probably wanted change.
Could have been
a new challenge.
Yeah.
Can I do it without Pat Mahomes?
Right.
Who is
still has some great weapons out there in Washington though.
Now I did want to definitely didn't want to miss the fact that Jalen Hurts, as well as Patrick Mahomes did, Jalen Hurts outperformed everybody on that football field. Mm-hmm. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
if it wasn't for the fact that I actually almost thought there for a minute because I was like, this won't happen, but I was just like, man, I'm like, if there's ever an argument that the losing team gets the MVP, he's the reason why because he was the sole purpose of why they were.
I told my dad that multiple times. I was like, man, it's going to be a shame when Jalen Hurts doesn't win MVP because they're going to lose this game.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was like, I would still give it to Jalen.
He's my MVP of that game. And I think that's kind of like when I was going through the week and you had the Super Bowl notes in there already and I was just like, and you said, Patrick Mahomes, elite. And I'm just like...
I said, is he elite? Yeah.
Does it say is?
Yeah.
I quickly read it, apparently, because I was like, elite?
Oh, no, I did say Patrick Mahomes is elite.
Yeah.
But it was going to be posed as a question. Yeah. But, I mean, dude, he's... In the last 5 years, the Chiefs have been to 3 Super Bowls. He's won 2 of them. The only one he lost to was to the fucking GOAT, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, I'm kind of like, you kind of get a small pass in my book. You get a small pass. He went against the greatest one to ever do it of all time.
It's hard not to put him in that conversation. And, I mean, there's more argument to than to not.
And he just shows out. Patrick Mahomes rarely doesn't step up in big situations. Don't get me wrong. He's lost in the conference finals before. He's obviously lost in the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying this guy can't lose. He's lost in his career. It happens. But I feel like when the situation arises in those big-time moments, most of the time, that dude shows up. And to me, that's exactly what you want, is someone who's you're confident when the ball is in their hand. That second-half performance, 4 total drives, touchdown, 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 game-winning field goal. He got the ball 4 times in the second half, and every single time he went and put points on the board. 3 of them getting in the end zone. because they didn't need a touchdown, obviously, at the end of the game.
Right.
Shout out Jerick McKinnon for having the ability, the IQ to slide on the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl.
I would say I would take all that. No, the selflessness.
Yeah.
Because the opportunity to be able to score in the Super Bowl and be, what's the word I'm looking for? Iconicized? I don't know. Basically, like, your name will go down in the history books as somebody that scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Where now it won't. Now you don't get that trophy football to put in your mantle to say, I scored in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Like, if the Chiefs make it back, they better make sure that he gets the first fucking touchdown.
Right. Yeah.
So
he went Patrick Mahomes 13 of 14 with 2 passing touchdowns. The Chiefs in the second half, 0 total penalties, 0 sacks, and 0 negative runs against. And that's against arguably the best defensive line in the league. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Which compared to, Jalen Hurts for the game, 27 of 38 passes for 304 yards and 1 touchdown and no interception. That was with passing. He ran the ball in 3 times.
Yeah.
He carried the ball 15 times for 70 yards, which is a Super Bowl record for a quarterback. 3 touchdown. I already said that, tying the record for any player in regardless of position.
Yeah.
And he also scored a 2-point conversion.
Yep.
And he's also now made it so the NFL is looking at the whole quarterback sneak situation.
Yeah.
Which I hope they never get rid of. Because...
yeah, I think that's a little silly.
I don't get it. Like, the job is to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
But, congratulations, Kansas City Chiefs. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Also,
gave us one of the greatest games.
I think I misspoke and said that Andy Reid won a Super Bowl in Philly in our last pod. I can't remember if I did or didn't when he went to the Super Bowl, but I believe they lost to the Patriots. I think that's who they lost to.
He was the coach
but I thought about it. I was like, did I say he went to 2 Super Bowls or did I say he won 2 Super Bowls? And I couldn't remember, so I'm just, in case anybody, if I did misspeak and say he won 2,
yeah, because
I meant he had been to 2
the coach
and won
of, the Foles.
No, he was already in Kansas City, but I wanted to make sure I just wanted to make sure I corrected myself.
Now, watching that game, field conditions were awful.
Jeez. That was the big talking point. Everyone was talking about the field.
It mostly happened in the paint areas.
It happened all over the place, but the paint didn't help.
Yeah, I was going to say mostly in the paint is when you saw most of the guys making the big slips.
Mm-hmm.
And, whenever parents... let's see here. This is originally from Shefty. He said the second half was worse. The halftime show, which basically spanned the entire field, pressed the grass, heated it up, and it got slick. Oh, it's Ian Rappaport, excuse me. I think I said Shefty. It basically increased the moisture in the grass because it didn't allow it to breathe and be pressed down on the grass. Then you take the halftime show off the grass, and it's a little bit wetter, and the third quarter, everybody was sliding around.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I saw that, and I was like, okay, well, that helps, make a little sense. But I was like, but they were sliding around in the first half. And then I was checking out the New Heights podcast, and Jason and Travis both said pregame that people were sitting there saying, this fucker's slick.
Yeah.
I know the Eagles actually had a pile of switched up shoes on the side trying to get different cleats and stuff to actually try to stick on there. So
it was bad. It affected the game.
Yeah.
The Sod Father is the guy's name who was growing the grass.
Thank you.
And I'm pretty sure that field cost $800,000, like through its maintenance, upkeep because they grew that grass over a 2-year span. So that Super Bowl field was 2 years of the process of growing grass. And I just don't feel like that was money well spent in hindsight.
Might want to bring in old green and white to help figure out your agricultural problems.
Yeah, ooh, I like what you did there.
So,
Number 1 agricultural school in the country.
Gang, gang, go green.
Go white.
So, that was frustrating as a fan to watch because I'm just like, this is...
Yeah.
If it was rain causing it, weather,
yep,
I like that. I'm good with that.
Yep.
That's Mother Nature in effect.
Yep.
But when it's just pure... I expect better. I expect better from the NFL.
Yep.
Is kind of what I guess I'm going to get at.
Yep.
You know,
100%. I guess the only thing that's kind of like is nice knowing at least both sides of the field.
100%.
Like both teams were struggling. So at least it's just really nice to say, oh, so-and-so wasn't the home team. Therefore, they're accustomed to their field conditions.
Yep.
It's nice that both teams are like, wow, this sucks.
No, they both had to deal with it. It was awful to see.
All things considered, I don't think the field affected it to the point where we saw guys unable to perform. Everyone still went out there and obviously did their thing.
I was concerned about injury.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
I was just like, ugh.
There were some big scuff marks.
Yeah.
There were some replays you saw, and they were putting like 1.5-foot skids into the turf. They were trying to fix the grass in between, like during halftime around the show. Mm-hmm. I know that before and after they were working on the field trying to fill in divots, essentially, that were being created. But
what did you, what'd you think about the halftime show?
I think everyone was like, is she pregnant? I know. Everyone, I was like, I was the first one to say it. I was like, Rihanna looks pregnant. Mike was looking. He's like, yeah, she do look a little bigger. I'm like, no, she's pregnant. I'm telling you, she's pregnant. And so, sure enough, obviously, I think that was the biggest talk.
Yeah.
So, shout out ASAP Rocky.
I know. Shooting the club up,
right? Getting their second child, if I'm not.
Yeah.
Untasteful. but yeah, no, I mean, all in all, it was a fine show. It didn't blow me away. I thought last year's was cooler for artist appeal.
Yeah.
However, I thought this one was probably better orchestrated from an entertainment show standpoint. So, and now I will say, and because I personally am led to believe that having Jay-Z have a seat at the table, I think he is influencing more current music. Yeah. I think hip-hop is definitely mainstream right now. It's the most mainstream that I remember over the last 20 years, as far as like on the radio. I remember when I was growing up, it was a lot of country. Then I feel like it went into like a pop phase, as far as household radio type stuff. And I feel like hip hop has broken into that scene. And I think it's really awesome to see my music genre of choice at a Super Bowl. I will say I would like to see genre mixes moving forward. One of your favorite all-time shows, ironically my dad's, because he brought it up as well, Prince and his halftime show. I also want to make sure we don't lose those opportunities as well.
Certainly.
Because I feel like Rihanna was more of a tip, because, I mean, I wouldn't say Rihanna's hip-hop. She's definitely more of a pop R&B. Because I think she has some uppity stuff, too. So I put her in that. So I just want to make sure that we still get a good, even mix of all music.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely the all music thing.
To me, it was
you got to keep it for everybody. I mean, what's the
first of all, Rihanna, in my opinion, everyone should enjoy Rihanna's music.
She's safe across the board.
Yeah.
There's a country singer that he sang.
Oh, the national anthem?
Yes.
Yes. Chris Stapleton?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I've been hearing nothing but great. I don't listen to his music, but I have been hearing that he is really good.
I've heard the same.
And so, therefore, maybe, you do a halftime. Now, selfishly, because it's always the music that I like, I prefer.
Sure. Well, that's why I said
But shit, with a lot of these hip-hop acts, you could bring out Ed Sheeran because he fucks with all of them. They fuck with him.
Yep.
But I was really happy with the halftime show. It wasn't like one that like
wasn't iconic.
It won't stand out.
Correct.
But I remember sitting there and going. I told Tara, I'm like, she looks pregnant, and Tara's just like, no, it's a safety harness thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I couldn't take my eyes off of it, and I'm like, nah. I'm like, well, she did have a baby. Maybe she's just still pudgy from the baby. I'm like, nah, I feel like I've seen her since then.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just kept on staring, right? I'm having problems with it. And then she looked me in my eye socket when she did that whole little move. Mm-hmm. And I go, I'm back, baby. What's up? I don't care. Whatever you got to say, I'm with you. And but although I thought it was a very good, well put together show, mm-hmm. but it won't crack the top 5.
No.
That's
what I said. It wasn't iconic. It was just it was a fun show.
Yeah.
That's it.
And, maybe a lot has to do with the fact that she was pregnant. She couldn't do some of the wild shit she might have done in a show. So,
yeah.
But I enjoyed it.
Still enjoyable, yeah.
Super Bowls, commercials. I told you I wasn't overly amped about those because I don't really think about them. But Jack Harlow was a good one.
Bro, that was probably the worst Super Bowl commercial list I've ever experienced.
Jack Harlow was a good one.
The best one was
Ben Affleck doing Dunkin' Donuts was a good one.
I thought the best one was John Travolta and the Grease song with JD and Turk.
Oh yes,
when he tried to hit that high note, bro,
that was a good one.
That was so funny. I enjoyed that.
All in all, yeah, I wasn't. The game definitely outshined all the extracurricular activities.
Yeah. Well, shout out Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champs. Shout out Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. Those dudes. Those two are
by far.
I mean, if we're doing comparisons, that is the new Belichick and Brady. Mahomes and Reed. Those dudes get it done, man. Just know that Tua's coming next year.
Travis and Jason, thank you for all last week.
What an emotional podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, that was phenomenal. And I got teared up when they were talking about their mom.
Yeah.
And thank you for allowing us and sharing your mother and father with us as fans. That was fantastic.
I'm a huge Jason Kelce fan after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Mama Kelce on top of the mountain, her 2 sons are in the Super Bowl. Best week of her life.
Yeah. Best week of their life.
You know what I mean? And then to hug Travis, congratulate him, and then have to go console your oldest.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so cool when Jason gave her the hug. They had their quick moment, and he goes, go celebrate with Trev.
Yeah.
Go celebrate. Like, he's like, I need you on a high note.
Yeah.
Go
he didn't
celebrate.
Want to take
I'll
anything
be okay.
Negative. Yeah.
I'll be okay. Go celebrate with Travis. Enjoy this.
That was
enjoy
beautiful.
The Super Bowl. Celebrate with him. And I just was like, damn, bro. Like,
Jason and Travis might have became my favorite NFL players.
And I was already a big Travis Kelce fan. I always had respect for Jason Kelce. I just didn't know much of him.
He's a lineman.
Their New Heights podcast, though,
phenomenal.
It shines light on 2 brothers playing football at the same time, ironically against each other in the Super Bowl. And I don't think it could have gone any better than it did, with it finishing off their season in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
like I know I just said it, but it's just like, hey, let's do a podcast. Cool, let's do a podcast. Oh, we both went to the Super Bowl this year. Write that story better.
And Travis, just the appreciation he has for his big brother is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And to sit there and just be like, yo, like, there's nobody else in this world. I wouldn't be anywhere near who I am if it wasn't for you. Mm-hmm. And, you could tell Jason didn't like that
just when he was just like, no, you always played sports. He goes, no, dude. He goes, you played hockey, I played hockey.
Yeah.
You played football, I played football.
Whatever,
I followed your footsteps, whether you like your breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
You didn't leave them for me, but unbeknownst to you, there was a trail, and I followed that trail, and you got me to where I'm at. We both went to Cincinnati. Don't tell me I don't follow in your footsteps.
The serious conversations of stop fucking around.
Yeah.
Came from Big Brother.
Yep.
You know?
And
So-
I think the coolest part, though, is it's not a scripted, I want to follow my big brother's footsteps. It was just an organic happening. And I just think that's so cool, man. And, you know, I think Donna Kelsey, their mom, got a ton of publicity over that whole Super Bowl week. But I got to say, their family handled it so well, with such grace and poise. And I think everyone became Kelsey fans. Kind of hard to hate Kelsey's. I mean, and I was already obviously big on Travis. I still think he's one of the best tight ends to ever do it. Only person he has to get past is Gronk in my book.
Yeah.
In my book, which statistically we did look up, and I'm like, all right, Gonzalez had a lot of fucking catches in his career. But Travis is on pace to break those records. Yeah. Can he? We will see. I hope he stays healthy. Because I didn't realize Gonzalez played till he was almost 40.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize. I just assumed
that's the reason why when I was talking about, like, a couple of those players, I was just like, I
guess that's a tough position to think you could play that old, though. You don't see that position go to that age. So that's why I'm like, okay, Trav, you got a long way to go. But Travis is 33, 32. So, like, he's there, but he's still not. He's just got to keep up this high play.
And we don't know if Jason's going to play anymore. Trav did ask that.
Yeah.
Definitely, you know, he's like, I still got to chew on it. You know?
Yep.
The wound's too fresh to give an answer, so.
Yeah, but yeah, man, finish it off with those. Congrats, Kansas City.
Yeah, congrats.
Just know that Dolphins lines are taking over the NFL 2023-2024.
Yeah, Eagles, sorry, Jalen. You had
your one shot. That was his one shot. What did Dan say?
What did Eminem say?
Yeah, right. Boy, those are two icons. I don't know who's more important. I don't know who's more important. Right. End the segment. I can't handle the pressure.
We'll come back and get in some off-season NFL conversation. So, although we don't have much to discuss because the NFL season just ended, and we don't have much off-season conversation to really speak of.
Mid-March.
Yeah, we got mid-March before anything could really get done. You know, it was like, hey, there's possible landing spots because there's places that need quarterbacks, and you know, I really started thinking about this because of the fact that Derek Carr got released from the Las Vegas Raiders this week, and I was like, man, I'm like sitting there, where would I put him if I'm him with the optimal situation? I know right now they're reporting that he just met with the Jets. Don't worry, if I'm any football team, he's still going to be in the AFC. But if I'm any team in that needs a quarterback right now, and if my team is the Indianapolis Colts, I'm going all in trying to get Derek Carr. They're probably the closest, I think, on my list here. Yeah, I have a list here of teams that are in dire need of a quarterback, right? And no, the Lions aren't on there. Wait, best landings. Oh, Tom Brady. No, this wasn't the list I thought I had. Damn it.
This guy, unprepared.
I am unprepared. There's two places for Derek Carr. Colts, New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Those are the only two places. If I'm Derek Carr, I'm really... Well, of course, you're looking for a job. But if I'm those two teams, I'm going after him.
Yeah.
Heavy. But then I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, but does nothing happen until the world finds out what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, especially when it comes to quarterbacks?
Right.
All the other positions will get filled up probably, but until you actually hear what Aaron Rodgers has decided, do you agree with me on the fact that you believe that quarterbacks are kind of just out in limbo until Aaron Rodgers decides on what's happening?
I'm going to say no. I won't necessarily think Rodgers is going to dictate kind of how the dominoes fall, I guess. The only reason I say that is because I think the teams who are in a running for Rodgers probably already know that they have a chance at Rodgers. And if you haven't heard from Rodgers, you're probably not in the running. You know, I think he's just got a very tight-knit circle. And I don't think that he's going to, like, it's going to be like, oh, Rodgers goes and meets with his 6th team this week. I bet he goes to 2 places. 3 tops.
What 2
and
places
that may
would you
include
say?
Green Bay. Las Vegas is a potential landing spot for him. I know there's a lot of rumor for him going out west. Or I think what was the other team that I saw? I saw Jets as well. I don't think he goes to New York. I think
That's too much of the,
I think the market makes sense for Rodgers, but Rodgers not being a spotlight type guy, that's just not the right fit in my opinion. But I think the Vegas is probably up there. I still keep the Jets in there because they got the money, and maybe he's just in for a cash grab for a little. Give me a 2-year deal.
All right,
cash grab. Let's see what we can do. Or Green Bay. I still think him staying in Green Bay is feasible. I don't think it does happen. I think if he plays football, I think he goes somewhere else, or he retires.
Yeah, I think.
But you can't count Green Bay out. They still get the opportunity to talk to him, but I don't.
Well,
I didn't think he was going to re-sign when he did.
I was going to say he's technically still under contract with them. So, it's just a matter of if he's coming back, if he's going to retire.
Yeah, because he'd have to get traded.
Yeah. And I'm looking at, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, the way I look at it is right now the 2 top quarterbacks that are in question right now are, my opinion, is Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers that are in play. Right, as far as quarterbacks that are out there.
Lamar Jackson? Like, what do you mean in play? Like, Lamar
I forgot about Lamar.
Yeah.
I forgot about Lamar. I'm not.
There's tons more. Jimmy G. He's not staying in San Fran.
No, but I wouldn't put him a top one where I'm like, the franchises. I'm talking about 3 franchise quarterbacks. They're the only 3.
Gotcha.
Am I not correct on that?
I don't think so. I think if you're going to make Carr a franchise guy, then Jimmy G is easily a franchise guy. I think Carr and Jimmy G are on the same level. Carr's not consistent enough to be elite. He's not that good. Very inconsistent quarterback.
Fair. I'll let you slide.
Yeah. So, Jimmy Garoppolo wins more games than Derek Carr. So what have you seen that would you be like? I got to pay Carr more. Health.
Yeah,
that'd be the big one.
I'm looking at the fact that I know I can use him day in, day out, week in, week out. And I think that in the pecking order of quarterbacks that are available, Lamar's number 1, Aaron Rodgers, if you can trade for him, is number 2, and then Derek Carr would be 3.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah. And being that I almost forgot Lamar, if I had you not brought up Lamar, my statement would have been Aaron Rodgers, then Derek Carr. You know what I mean? So Derek Carr goes.
I would honestly almost say Carr before Rodgers. Rodgers. People forget Rodgers is fucking old.
No, I don't forget.
That dude's got 3 years left, maybe 4. He's not going to put up Brady type.
If you're looking at it you're the.
Dude, you got to be ready to win a Super Bowl now.
Exactly.
If you're adding Rodgers,
that's exactly what I was.
Which is weird because
why would you go to the Jets?
Well, and that's my point. Why would you go to Vegas? Devontae Adams wants out. Granted, he wouldn't if Rodgers came to Vegas.
Right.
So,
and Josh Jacobs is talking about coming back.
He hates it in Vegas.
I know, but he had. I know he's doing.
I haven't read that, but I trust you.
Well, I saw him in an interview during Super Bowl week, sitting there, kind of talking of,
Sure. I do know he wants to be a Raider for life.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's the one who said that.
Yeah,
but then it's he's so unhappy.
But he's unhappy with the fact that he's putting up top running back numbers. I think
he's tired of losing. Yeah, he's just losing a lot.
So that's what.
It's some very unfortunate head coaching shit go down over the last 2 years though. So.
Yeah, so it's they're in a situation to win. The Raiders, I believe, the Colts are in a situation to win. Those Saints, we already know if you get them a real quarterback, somebody. No offense to Teddy, but if you get them a real quarterback, not maybe we go with Taysom Hill and maybe we go with.
You talking about Jameis? You said Teddy.
Oh yeah, Jameis Winston. Sorry. Where'd Teddy play at?
Miami.
Oh, that's right. That's
That's why I was so thrown off.
Yeah. Jameis. Jameis wasn't going to be the answer.
No.
And
I still think Jameis has a lot of potential, though, man.
No, he's not bad.
No,
but I mean,
he was hurt last season, so you didn't even get a good gauge. And before he got hurt, he was putting up stupid good numbers.
But I also know that Derek Carr's, for the most part, consistent.
I would take Carr over Winston.
I don't foresee that.
Plus, they got fucking weapons in New Orleans.
Yeah,
Michael Thomas,
Olave.
Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave. Jawan Johnson as their tight ends really coming out. You still got Alvin Kamara there.
Who just got indicted this week.
So, did see that.
So, I don't know, man. Like, I think because so many teams are like, we're going to try and make a splash with this impact player that it almost does stop. Until Aaron Rodgers comes back and says what he's going to do.
Sure. I mean, no teams are in a rush right now.
There's no need to be.
I don't think anyone's in a huge rush. We won't know about Rodgers until mid-March. I think it's the 15th is when everything next season officially starts. I don't think you're going to see a lot of anything. You're going to see the potential of verbal commitments, if anything. But I don't think we'll see any action until then. I think teams are they're doing their due diligence, but I don't think we're going to see any breaking news until that point. So as long as Lamar doesn't come to the Jets, I don't care. Send Carr there, send Rodgers there. Doesn't matter. Our defensive line's going to eat you alive. But you don't eat Lamar Jackson alive. That man's a fucking monster. I just don't want him in the East.
I could just envision that. So
dealing with Josh Allen is enough. Don't give me Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, dude.
Well, and depending on how Tua comes back,
MVP caliber. So
that AFC South East, you're South, right?
I'm the East.
AFC East would have one of the most explosive quarterbacking situations going on over there. I mean, right now I would say you're batting 500. Wait, you Bills.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jets, Patriots. Yeah. So you guys are batting about 500 as far as crazy quarterbacks could go. Because I'm putting Tua there because of how you guys did when he was healthy. I think that was...
You talking about divisional record? You think we split everyone?
No. I'm talking about just talent at quarterback. Like, out of your 4 teams, I believe that, of course, Josh Allen, and then I'm putting Tua up there in, top caliber quarterbacks of excitement to watch.
When he plays good, he plays real good.
But when he's not injured, he plays pretty gosh darn fucking good. What was his record this year? His record.
Oh, he went on that losing streak, so I think he finished. But that's a great question, because he was out of six or 7 games.
Yeah.
So he was about 500.
500 for a kid that still hasn't been able to play a whole year.
Yeah, maybe a game over, but
the biggest problem,
little losing streak was pretty rough.
The biggest problem for him is being injured. You know?
100%.
And, I think that if he plays at the caliber that he was playing at, I feel like the beginning of the season,
healthy, he's elite. He's up there.
He's up there in that conversation. And if Lamar or Derek or Aaron ends up in your division,
it's a lot of firepower.
It's a ton of firepower.
Yep.
So, when I'm looking at my NFC North, it's, I'll be honest, we're definitely, I feel like, going to be like a...
Lamar goes to Green Bay.
Fuck, do not do that. Don't do
Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson now. And Kirk Thuggins.
God, that would suck. Don't do that. It's a good thing that...
Running quarterbacks are tough to play against. Having 2 in your division is just unfair.
Unless he comes to Detroit, I don't want to see Lamar in the NFC North at all.
Goff can be to his backup.
Or he could be the Lions' backup.
It's true. It's true.
Oh, what else we got here? Anything NFL related? No.
I don't think so. I think it jumps into the XFL.
Yeah. The Rock being at 2 different stadiums in one day.
That was crazy, dude. Luckily, they were both in Texas, though, so it wasn't too bad. Probably jumped on a private jet. Got there in an hour.
I do appreciate the fact that he's working this hard to try to make it a thing. Yeah. Something that really excited me as well is they're setting themselves up for a ton of victory when it comes to viewership, gaining fans, and everything. They're dealing with the Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
You know, they are their TV contracts with ESPN and ABC, which, if you don't know, Disney owns those. So they are guaranteeing eyes on this sport. They put it on yesterday on ABC. Mm-hmm. Today's games are on ESPN. Mm-hmm. At least tonight's game is ESPN.
They also air them on TNT.
Do they? Okay, so
that Roughnecks game last night was TNT or ESPN.
Yeah.
So
you know, they're definitely out there trying to get the viewership. I didn't watch enough to really speak about the gameplay yesterday because I was busy all day. But you know, my DC Defenders played tonight, prime time, 8 o'clock on ESPN. And
prime time.
You know, it's just like I'm treating it just like it was NFL Sunday Night Football game. It's excitement that it should be. You watched the games yesterday. What do you feel about the first session?
I watched
of
the
play?
Roughnecks. I didn't watch the first game, but no, dude. I mean, it was good. It was good football.
That's what I was getting from the highlights.
I mean, is it? I think if people are going to go, oh well, it's not NFL. Well, no shit, it's not NFL. Those guys are in the NFL, playing in the NFL. Come on. I don't know anyone who compares a different league to the best of the best. That's like, you know, watching the G League or college, be like, oh, well, it's not the NBA. We know it's not the NBA. So first off, we can't compare talent level there. However, with that being said, a lot of these XFL players aren't just dudes who are working part-time somewhere and decided to go work out and made the team like a lot of this USFL is. No disrespect, USFL. But,
smoking bogeys at warm-ups.
There are multiple guys on the Roughneck squad who have NFL experience.
There's coaches in the NFL, on the XFL that Bob Stoops.
Yeah.
Might know who he is.
Right.
Is the coach. So
he's Renegades coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the quality of play is there, in my opinion. And I enjoyed watching the game. I do think some of the rule changes in there definitely remind you're not watching normal football. But I think that's kind of a good thing. Like their kickoff rules, the guys stand on like the 35 and 40 or something like that, like 5 yards from each other. And then they basically kick the ball off. As soon as the guy catches the kickoff, then everybody engages. So like it's different, but it definitely reduces high impact collisions like from at speed. But you still saw some good pops, which was kind of nice. You know, and I think, you know, because I'm a Houston Roughnecks guy, everyone's going to want to know why. Well, CB, myself, our buddies Nick and Adam, we literally just picked random teams.
When they came back the last time.
Yeah, in 2020.
Yeah.
And so Connor Cook, the former Michigan State quarterback, was one of the quarterbacks for the Roughnecks in 2020, so I picked the Roughnecks. CB blindly picked the Defenders.
You know, they're DC Defenders.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's the capital of the United States. I'll take them.
Yeah, but Nick and Adam went with the Battlehawks. So now recently acquired John Rosado has chosen to go with the Orlando Guardians. Glad I could hand you your first loss last night. So yeah, we have random XFL fandoms.
And we have a group chat that, you know, we're
an
very
XFL
passionate
group chat.
about.
Dude,
yeah.
I tell you what, though, like, this is kind of how fandom starts.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because, like, you were talking about coaching. Wade Phillips is my coach. That dude has over 30 years NFL coaching experience.
Well, they're trying not to make it just a gimmick. They're trying to make it like a real thing.
And we have two DNs played in the NFL, one of them on the Miami Dolphins. I have a safety that had 5 years NFL experience, almost had 3 interceptions last night. Yeah. That was the one that actually got gypped on the one in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say it's Sean something. I got the names are what's going to take a minute to get down. Okay. That's gonna take a sec. I know, like, Bogey or Boogie or something like that is our running back. I know Silvers is our quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of learning.
Kirkland is one of our receivers. Like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm getting there, but that's a lot. I mean, you're talking about 22 starters before you get to the bench that you're trying to memorize. So, like, I think it's one of those things that comes over time. And also, to be honest, like, this will never overtake the NFL for me. Obviously, never in a million years.
I was going to say, it's not desired. I mean, as a program, they're not trying to do that.
Correct. But it's going to take a minute to be a fan, but also know your team.
Well, and I mentioned
it. Makes it fun, though.
I was going to say, I mentioned it when they first were coming out and The Rock came out that he was buying them and kind of like what the goal of this was. And, you know, they've teamed up with the NFL. So, essentially, what we could end up seeing is the NFL adopting rules from the XFL because of the fact that the XFL is going to, you know, experiment and find, you know, these other rules. So we just don't go into the NFL, throw this new rule in, and fuck the whole game up.
Yeah, so you have that kickoff rule. You also, when you score a touchdown, you can either have a 1, 2, or 3-point conversion attempt. 1 point from the 2-yard line, a 2-point conversion from the 5, or a 3-point conversion from the 10. That's cool because now you're not seeing extra point kicks.
Yeah.
You're just seeing them go for 1, 2, or 3. You also have, instead of onside kicks, which I got to see, you can go for a 4th and 15 from your own 25. If you get the first down, that's you basically recovering your onside kick. If you don't get it, well, the other team gets the ball at really, really good field position. And that's how they do onside kick attempts. So I thought that was kind of neat too. But yeah, all in all, man, I think it looks the part. They're all in proper gear. They all look sharp. I mean, you got a little bit of Rock and Under Armour, obviously doing some work on that end. But looking the part is step one. If people turn it on and instantly go, that looks like high class football, they're going to be more entertained or they're going to be more interested in watching. And I think the production's there. I think it's pretty crazy because everyone's mic'd. So, like, Wade Phillips at the end of the game, the Roughnecks coach was like, everybody just should run the ball and kill the clock. Let's get the fuck out of here. And you hear it on ESPN, and the commentator goes, oh. And it kind of goes silent for like 6 seconds, and he goes, well, that's the beauty of XFL, folks. You're never hidden. You know, they're like, you got to be careful of the things you say on the sidelines now because now everyone's going to hear.
That's funny.
You know, and then you player scores a touchdown. They were doing post-game things in the end zone. Oh, that was a great catch. Oh, you know, how'd you come down with that one? And he's like, yo, I'm trying to celly. Like, let me get my celly under, you know, like they get pulled off to the sideline. So-and-so just made that interception. How's the game been? So I think it's different to get insight from players and coaches immediately. I also was kind of like, I don't really need it that quickly. I don't really need you to pull my safety from the team and so he can talk into the mic about it.
Yeah.
That's part of what the XFL does. They want to give us
immediate reaction.
A perspective that we don't get in other football. So I'm not saying I'm against it. Just different.
Yeah.
Just different. But I think all in all, what the XFL is doing, I think they're covering things well. And also something I noticed, I realized that I think the XFL kind of oversees each team's social media accounts. I think social media is an easy way for us as like fans of teams to get kind of insider news and updates fairly quickly. And the one thing I've noticed is like the XFL kind of, I think that there's just an umbrella. I think they want to ensure that each team, like one team doesn't hire a marketer and they get 20 times the exposure than other teams. So I think it's smart that the XFL kind of has an umbrella set up and they're like, we need to ensure the proper messages and similar messages get out because we need our brand to stay cohesive across all platforms. You don't want to see one team, oh, we're going to do videography, but then this team is just heavy on Twitter.
Well, what they could do is it's nice because now you're showing these teams that might not know how to do these and how to do them appropriately. Mm-hmm. So then maybe next year and a couple of years after, you know,
they'll get more identity.
Then you get to put in your own because I mean, like,
I just think that's smart. It's just something I didn't think of, like as a marketer, and realizing like this is a big thing that they're trying to do. It's not just, you know, like, oh yeah, just let's play some football. Right. You know, they're trying to make sure this is a sustainable league for years hopefully decades to
because
come.
it's failed so many times.
Yeah,
that, you know.
and I just think it's really cool because I'm like, man, I was waiting for my Roughnecks victory post because I was trying to put it on the story,
Right.
trying to let everybody know I was watching it night of week 1, and I didn't get to it till this morning. But I got my post out, but I was just like, man, I bet the XFL kind of oversees, like micromanages in a sense, but it just got me thinking, and I respect it because I found. Personally, at least, I feel like I uncovered more pros to having that approach than cons.
Well, and to have somebody as big as The Rock, who is so groomed socially. Socially? Is that really the word I'm looking for? Like his identity, of what he puts out in the public space is so groomed and maintained because he's going to protect it by all means, and his name being attached to this is going to be protected as well because he's like, I'm not going to allow for this to hurt my brand. Yeah, because The Rock is a brand, Dwayne Johnson is a brand, which is he's not just an actor, he's just not a wrestler. Yep. He's not a former University of Miami football player,
but he's a WWE former heavyweight champion.
If you smell I loved it. I grew up on that guy. Yeah. Well, I grew up. I was already grown up on it. I was already grown up, but I was watching the shit out of that wrestling. That wrestling. Let's see here. Another break. Come back 2 seconds on NBA All-Star Weekend, which I'm sure neither one of us have seen much of, but we'll come back and talk about it anyways. So the NBA had their All-Star Game weekend this weekend, and that's all we got to report. No, we really don't have anything to talk about this.
Dame Lillard won the 3-point contest.
He did.
Over Buddy Hield. And Mac McClung can still dunk just as good as he could in high school, but all y'all forgot his name, apparently.
Yeah, it was driving me crazy. I was telling you all week, like I'm hearing people say, Mac McClung, who the fuck's this guy? And I'm sitting here going...
I distinctly remember him from high school.
Yeah.
Dunking on everyone.
So I remember him from high school. Then I found out that the Lakers signed him to a G League contract, so I started following him. So I follow him on Instagram, and kind of been able to keep tabs of him that way. And then he just this week signed a two-way contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. Comes in the slam dunk contest, and in my head, I knew this kid was going to win. I was like, there's no way this kid's not going to win.
Yeah.
He might be the first white dunker to ever win. But they were putting up the infographic of most games, or least games played in the...
2.
Yeah, he's gotten 2 games in the NBA, where Kobe was 39 games and won the slam dunk contest. And I was just like, that's amazing. And then I started thinking, I'm like... He might be the only white guy that's ever won the slam dunk contest.
Well, we sure hell didn't invent it, so yeah, probably.
So, but big congratulations to him. I hope that NBA career-wise he can stay in the league. I was kind of thinking about it. I wasn't hype about it, of the slam dunk contest or anything like that, because none of the stars ever do it anymore.
Yeah.
That's what they almost need to make. They do the slam dunk contest at the very end of the night, where nowadays, honestly, you can move it to the front of the night because everybody's just tuning in for the 3-point shootout. Mm-hmm. They want to see that now because that's the way the game is, and that's where all the stars are. All the stars do the 3-point. They don't dunk.
Yep, so that's about
right. I did have a question, though, a basketball question for you. Out of just the Nikola Jokic is about ready possibly to win he's on pace to win his 3rd consecutive
dude's a
MVP.
Beast. Absolute monster.
Why, I guess, should he and why isn't he more, for me, why isn't he more in that conversation, the greatest?
I don't know why. I've always been high on him.
Yeah, well, I know, but
I've always counted him as one of the best centers in the game currently. Him and the way Joel's playing right now, like those two are just monsters.
Unbelievable. And if he wins that, then I mean, because I was just like, man, if he wins a third consecutive MVP, I don't recall Mike doing it. Kobe didn't do it. LeBron didn't do it. Bless you.
Thank you.
He almost, in some magnitude, needs to be talked about as possibly the greatest basketball player of all time.
Threepeat MVP.
I don't believe anybody's ever done it.
Bill
Russell?
Russell, Chamberlain, and Bird.
Yes, you're right.
All three of those guys have won threepeats.
So he essentially has to be brought into that conversation.
Why 2 Celtics and only 1 Laker on that list?
Well, Magic got AIDS, HIV.
He used AIDS as his reason.
Shaq had to share with Kobe.
It was rhetorical.
I'll break it down.
It was rhetorical. I mean, I've always been high on Jokic. I think he's an absolute menace, dude. He's so good at basketball. He does it all.
Yeah.
He does it all.
With, I would say, nobody around to help.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not...
I don't want to disregard...
Yeah, he's had really good players in Denver. He hasn't done it himself. But his ability...
Pretty close to.
His ability to continue to do what he does at the level he does with the consistency he does it is unbelievable.
Let's just put it this way. He has had way less help than Joel Embiid.
And to be... Yes, 100%. 110%. And I think the most important thing to take notice to is his ability to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. I know it's easy to use that as a crutch for when people are trying to accomplish great things. Oh, if he can stay healthy. But it's a big aspect in the game. And to be quite frank, NBA players are consistently taking breaks, time off to kind of, I guess, fully heal or just rest. And Jokic doesn't do a ton of it. Mm-mm. He's a wizard of his own physique, and yeah, dude, if he wins 3 straight, I mean, I feel like you're automatically putting him in the conversation of greatest big men to ever play the game. And it's tough,
but almost like I would almost have to say when you're doing a three-peat of an MVP, mm-hmm. I think you take out what position it is. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all time at that point.
Yeah. I mean...
You've dominated the league for 3 consecutive years. Mm-hmm. The league. A league that has LeBron James, Steph Curry,
right.
Joel Embiid, mm-hmm. Kevin Durant. You know, I mean, this is the league that he's in, and he's dominating 3 consecutive. 2's already astonishing. You can
be the greatest of all time to do it and not win championships.
I know.
I
know that.
There are multiple. No, and I understand. I'm reiterating the fact because I feel like this Jordan mentality, and I'm going to use that because that's who typically people talk about when they say winning championships is all that matters. Because you don't do that with, for example, Tom Brady, because Tom Brady never lost. That dude won regular season all the time. Mm-hmm. Literally the only guy to almost take his team to a fully undefeated season with a Super Bowl. Shout out 72 Dolphins, only team to do it. So my point being is like, that dude always did it. But very rarely did he lose, unless you were Eli Manning.
I was going to say, but I mean, like...
And the point I'm getting at is, with this whole Jordan mentality is... Well, if you don't win championships, then it doesn't count for shit. You're not great. And so we talk about a Nikola Jokic who isn't winning championships. To be quite frank, he's not even getting close. I don't think he's even made a Western Conference final. Mm-hmm. He can't get to a Western Conference final. But yet I can sit here and say, yeah, if you win MVP 3 years in a row during some of the primes of these players, not LeBron, well past it, but like, I think Steph, I think it's hard to argue if he's still not prime Steph, because I feel like for what he does in his skill set doesn't really vary much. Right. So like I feel like Steph's prime can be a little bit greater than KD prime or LeBron prime or Embiid prime, you know. And I'm just glad that you're saying 3 times in a row, why is he not in the conversation of all-time great?
I'm amazed.
When I'm like, I do think something like that should be all-time great. Now, I only say big man because when it comes to the game of basketball, I feel like the difference between the best point guard to ever play and the best center to ever play are vastly different positions. They're such different positions. We don't see many, up until, honestly, more recent basketball in the last few decades, to where you get big men who do it all, like LeBron.
Mm-hmm. I do.
You know what I mean? LeBron can play 1 through 5 and do it all. And with all due respect, a lot of the greats back in the day, none of them could play more than 3 positions.
Magic Johnson could play all 5.
Magic Johnson could. That's why I said not many. But like we talk about Wilt Chamberlain.
No, he's a big man.
Can you see Wilt bringing it down the court?
He might be able to stretch out to a power forward.
You know what I mean? Larry Bird, could he play center? Sure, but he'd get dominated by those real big guys.
Well, he was a small forward. Yeah, he was a small forward.
But that's my point. So then, realistically, when you get into the all-time greats, there's not many people who you play 1 through 5 and say, what about him at 1? Top 10. What about at 2? Top 10. 3, top, you know what I mean? All the way through. And we know Jokic ain't going to be a 1. He's not a 2. He's barely a 3.
We did see him last year have some nice little handles.
Yeah. But there's a difference between bringing it down the court 100%. Repetitively and we need you to do 100%. It one time. So, and that's why I say, in my opinion, Jokic, one of the best big men, one of the best 5s primarily, but he does it with such, what's the word, dominance, that I agree with you in the sense of when you're talking current era basketball, 2020s, who's some of the best players to be in the NBA, you almost have to say Nikola Jokic number 1, best player in the NBA, because he's done it 3 times in a row now, potentially. But that's where I'm coming from is you got to put respect on his name, and if you're not putting him as one of the top players in the current NBA, top greatest, you're doing him a disservice.
100%.
Disjustice.
And I think I even went against him last year, or maybe the year before, but I was also just rooting for Embiid to get the fucking MVP.
Hey, every time I put Philly on a pedestal, I think they're going to get over the hump. They fucking don't do
I mean,
it,
it's just me being a fucking, Philly fanatic for whatever fucking stupid reason I am. Like when it comes down to the random shit when my Lakers aren't involved in anything, I'm like,
it's Kobe's hometown. That's why
it probably is the reason why.
It's just Kobe's from the brotherly city of brotherly love. Thank you. I don't want to say brotherhood, but he's part of the brotherhood.
Well, he is part of.
He is part of the brotherhood as well, though.
He is the brotherhood.
I can't just speak. I'm not in the brotherhood. I've been to the city of brotherly love, though, so I can say that.
It's like by adjacent. I'm kind of rooting for him to win a 3rd one. Just because. I don't know. I like the fact that he shouldn't be. Look at him, he doesn't look athletic.
He's a little gumpy. He's built thick.
Yeah, I mean, he does not look athletic. Yeah.
He's a tank.
And the fact that he's just consistently...
he's fat Ivan Drago. He's not from Russia, but I mean...
Uh-oh. Heat are going back to the finals.
Kevin Love with the Heat. Gray-haired Kevin Love, mind you. Right? That's depth is what that is.
Yes. All right. I got nothing else, man. All right. We're out. Go green.
Go white. Take care.